Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. So we had our bounce back, our oversold rally. I came in this morning, did the Morning Call Express, which is what we put out to the public, and then my long form version, which is about 20 minutes long with the detailed report. Just in case you don't know what that is, that's part of my Redler All Access product line, which also includes a note. And if you're looking for more resources, you should go to the front of our website and click on Redler All Access. You could actually get a free trial, I believe. But anyway, talked about where we can go on an oversold bounce, what would be the easier part of the move, and then what could be the overthrow into the end of the quarter, where if you covered yesterday when the oscillator was minus 60, where you could reshort perhaps if the market shows you that, and if you're long yesterday, where maybe you could sell into and then then hold some and wait and see if there's any higher prices. But if you came in flat, which I also did, I came in basically flat, and I bought pre-morning call, which we talked about, and then if you were on the VTF, you saw how we tried to have a proper entry into this market. A lot of things actually went a little past the easy part of the rally, and now we're trying to figure out how much more there could be before the sellers make a stand or not. So if you go to the chart of the S&P, you'll see easy part of the rally we talked about would be at least 2020 to 2025, and that was right here into right here, and that happened. Okay, so if you were playing the move for what could be just a reflex, first day, I just want to make a little bit of money, boom, you made a good trade there. You could go look at the, my tweets from I think 5 o'clock in the morning when we talked about that. If you think that we can go a little bit higher, which I kind of think we do, and I think maybe not, maybe by Thursday's end of the quarter, we could probably see this 248-ish, which would also be, a retest of the 200-day, on that moving average. Let's see, this is, let's see, which moving average is this? This is, I think hold on, let me get this off. I think it's the EMA, yeah. So you have the SMA and the EMA. I think the SMA was a little bit lower. But anyway, so that was that. So if you came in flat, how could you trade it responsibly? So let's talk about the spiders. First of all, the spiders, also we talked about if it could get in the gap to 201.60, you could see a gap fill, which was 202.70, and it wound up pushing a little bit higher to that 203-ish area. So this was the easy part of the rally, which wasn't that easy, but it never is. And pushing the envelope, would take you back to this 204.70 to 205. So hopefully you didn't short today. I don't think anyone in our community was shorting today. We were just trying to figure out how we could be long responsibly for maybe a bit more upside. So let's talk about the spiders on the 5-minute on how you could have entered, because that's basically where I focused on the VTF all day. So the first move, okay, which started out here, okay, let's put this over there, and we can keep that line up. Okay, just going to be a little bar by bar analysis. You had the gap up, so I started buying pre-market around 280. Okay, that was about 7:35. Then my thought was if we get above 201.60, which was the prior day's high, I could add to it for a move, into the first part of the day. So I started long, got into like a tier 2, okay, and then sold into it and had a nice opening move, which took some of the stress off, because I was so mad that I didn't get long yesterday. I tried to be long all day yesterday, and I got stopped out, I think, somewhere right here on this friggin' move. But anyway, so this took some of the edge off, okay? And then you had a little bit of move down into the gap, so that got me, I think, very small, okay? And then on this pushback up, I bought more versus this low here, okay? And then what I said is if we can get above the morning high, which was 202.30, I'm going to add to it for a move to fill the gap and maybe and then some, because in my morning chart I said we could see at least 203-ish. That was my spot to, of the day, if we had a good methodical day. So, buy one, buy two, get flexible, have a trailer on, got more here, okay, held higher, went across, added a little bit here, added there, sold some, and now I took some home long for some follow through. Not a bad intraday 5-minute chart, especially if you didn't come in long and you didn't want the risk. You had to be quick, and if you didn't want to do the first move, then you could have waited till you had more time in the whole day of basing to buy versus the low, and then add above the morning high to get that squeeze, and there you go. So, that's a little bit of bar by bar analysis on a 5-minute chart of the spiders on a day where you actually had some continuity, where you gapped up, made a move, and then consolidated all day and closed near the highs. That type of action doesn't happen often. When it does, you have to take advantage of it. Okay, let's talk about stocks. Amazon, gave you that doji at the 50-day. We talked about it getting to 707. Well, got right to 707. So this, to me, was the easy part of the trade. Okay, here was your 50-day hold, your doji, opened up above the prior high and right into resistance. So at this point, if you were in a decent size, I would be very light overnight. That's right back into the base. Okay, let's talk about Facebook that's been broken. I am long Facebook overnight. Why am I long Facebook overnight? You know what? Decent engulfing bar, went above this prior high here. Okay, and granted, it's probably might see a little resistance here at the 8-day, but I think there's a little bit more room left, more towards this 114 spot. So I'm not looking for a big trade. All I'm saying is it closed on the highs of the day, took out a prior high, showed a little strength down here, trapped some shorts, so maybe I'll get a little bit more. Apple, did kind of the same thing. Not really a blockbuster move. I hope it doesn't get me. I haven't had a lot of success with Apple lately. This is when it broke this wedge to the downside. And, if you got out there, into this type of move where it cleared a prior high, it showed afternoon strength. So maybe, by clearing this, there's some room to get up to this, 94.58. But so again, we're not looking for blockbuster moves. We're just looking for cash flow responsibly. Netflix was a good early morning trade, but then just kind of filtered out or faded out, or another word, went out of play. So to me, wasn't as strong. So I'm not long this, overnight. It's still broken, and I just don't feel like dealing with that many. After a big up 250 points in the Dow, I don't feel like having too many longs. So this one, I think you could have been, but you'll see what's next here. It's very broken. It's below everything. So for a trade here, it's not really that compelling. Tesla gave you some nice follow through from yesterday's Red Dog reversal. What's a Red Dog reversal, Red Dog? Okay, I'll ask myself, Red Dog reversal, I just said that way too many times, is when it goes below a prior low of 189.73, comes back above it. It did this when the market was weaker, relative strength. You buy here, you put a stop there, you take home a third for follow through, and then here you got a little follow through, up a few bucks. And now we're in front of this gap. If this can go sideways a little bit, maybe there's another trade into that gap to give you another little cash flow trade up to that spot, which again is just, we're just looking for, things to do. And then, Google came back up a little bit. Some guys took it because of the trade off the lows yesterday. I don't think there's, it's that compelling. It was definitely very oversold like everything else in the market. So with that being said, maybe there's, a trade back up to here, and if it, the market opens up tomorrow, it opens, I would just sell it if you have it and not be chasing Google. That's a broken name. Oil was pretty strong. Faded, brought the market in and closed on highs. See what the XLE did today. XLE, also above what's it called, yesterday's highs, so showing you a little strength here. It's actually above the 200-day, which a lot of things aren't, but look where all the resistance is. But it closed strong. If you think there's another day of strength, this is something to have. But that's that. Metals, the GLDs, still holding. Even in the face of this rally, still holding this gap. Hopefully, you're sitting in small. Because if we do gap up tomorrow, this could come into the moving averages. It's still very extended. Every time it gets above it, it usually waits and comes back in, sometimes breaks below. So if you're sitting in a lot of GLD, you have a thesis for it. If you're waiting, I would wait a little bit more. Some guys went out short this, but I don't think that's, I think that's a little risky also, but it's up to you. NUGT, also, holding the gap, still hanging in there. Is it a false sense of security? I don't know. Opened up, hanging here. 8 days below, 21 days below, 50 days below. Last time it found support at the 50. I guess you're taking it overnight. If you're long it, you're playing for a down move in the S&P futures tomorrow. If you're playing for a short, you're playing for some follow through to today. So at this point, I don't know. It's up to you. Be careful. I have nothing there. The banks had a decent rally. Our U.S. banks closed on highs. The stress test is tomorrow. They were very, very oversold. They probably have a little bit more room. J.P. Morgan, if you want to take a look at a bank stock, it also was broken on this big gap down, but it traded above a prior high, which means for the active trader, maybe you're long a little bit. Here was prior support that could turn into resistance at the 8-day, so there is some room there, just like everything else. We're trading to figure out where the easy move, which was right to here, could happen, and where, if it wants to continue, it can go. And that was really the mantra today. The mantra was, can you enter today in the first part of the day and take things to a reflex rally level, which they all did. And then if you're going to stay in some, you don't want to stay past your welcome, and and have smaller into that. And also, if you're looking to re-short because you covered yesterday with the oscillator minus 60, you don't want to start too quickly because you might not be able to hold if the market retests 2040 to 2050, which it could. Today reached a target of 2025 to 2030, which was the easy portion of the reflex rally. Now we see where else we can go and whether the sellers come back and take control. There was some news about an airport in India that with an explosion. Our hearts go out to everyone involved there. That's that's happening way too frequently. Hopefully, that's the least, the most we'll hear from there in that area today, and just in general. I hate to hear about stuff like that, but what's today, Tuesday? Oh my goodness. So tomorrow's Wednesday, and it is another day, and hopefully if you came in flat, you put your frustration at the door, because I was feeling in a foul mood this morning also, but if you put that on the side and you just took a deep breath, there was definitely ways to enter today and ways to make money if you were not frustrated and you let the moves come to you. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.